That'll work.
That is hot. Holy.
Spicy hot?
No. Hot, hot. Today, we're going to introduce the Road Trip Photo Challenge. The idea is simple. We go on a road trip. We like going on road trips. We like taking pictures, and we like painting. So on the Road Trip Photo Challenge, what we're going to do is go on a road trip, and along the way, we're going to challenge ourselves to collect something as we go. It could be an object, it could be a person, it could be a concept. We'll figure that out as we go. On the first Road Trip Photo Challenge, we're going to travel from Penticton, British Columbia, all the way up to Salmon Arm, British Columbia.
Woohoo! On the road again!
And along the way, our challenge is going to be lakes. Yes, we're going to capture every lake we pass by as we go. These may not end up being pictures that we're going to print and frame, or even paint one day. But you never know. They might be the best pictures we've ever taken. You be the judge, and you let us know in the comments below after you've watched this video. So with no further ado, let's hit the road and go to our first lake.
On the road again!
This is Okanagan Lake. And you know, one of the things that occurs to me as we start this road trip is people have taken pictures of this lake a million times. How are we possibly going to find a picture that's either interesting or even a little bit different than the pictures other people have taken? I mean, I'm asking you, can you tell me how to do this? Because it's going to be a real challenge. One of the things I think we have in our favor today as we're standing here beside Okanagan Lake is that it's actually pretty cold out. It's below 0 Celsius right now. There is a little bit of ice on the lake. And that makes it a little different than most of the pictures you usually see of this lake. Usually you see pictures of people in bathing suits hanging out on boats, drinking beer, which actually doesn't sound that bad on a day like today, but this is not that day. We're going to have to find something. We're going to have to dig a little deeper into our creative kit bag to see what we can make of this scene. Let's do that. Here's what we've decided on. We're going to ask Diana to stand on the edge of the lake over here, and she's going to be our foreground interest for this picture. But she's going to be a very uninteresting foreground interest because we're going to have her face away from the camera. I can't tell you how many pictures I have in my collection of the back of Diana's head. She has been my model in these situations so many times. It's a real skill. It's something she's practiced over and over, is how's the back of my hair when I'm in the picture. So and I must say, the back of her hair today looks fabulous. So let's set up the camera. We're going to shoot this at about f11 because we want not only Diana, but we also want the background to be in focus for this, because I don't know if you can see it very well on the video with the blown out highlights, but there's some very interesting light back on the mountains over there. So we want to capture that. That in the distance is Okanagan Mountain Park. And it gets some very nice snow on top of it. So we're going to set up here. We're going to go f11, whatever shutter speed the aperture priority tells us we're going to be at, and ISO 100 because we want to get best quality. So let's take that shot and see how it turns out. We're going to leave Penticton now and start heading up the valley and see what we can find farther up. So let's head out of town and find our next photo location. We've made a stop as we're going up the valley here in Summerland, right along the waterfront. And we saw this dock and thought that might be a really interesting subject for a photo. Welcome to Ellison Lake, otherwise known as the hardest lake in the world to get down to. We've been driving around for about half an hour trying to get down to the edge of the lake so we could take a picture to make sure that we're fulfilling the conditions of this road trip challenge. But we're here now on the shores of Ellison Lake, which is also very confusing because we always thought this was called Duck Lake. But if you look on Google Maps, you can see it's called Ellison Lake. Very strange because just over there is a place called Duck Lake, which is on the shores of Ellison Lake. So color us confused. We're trying to get a picture in this lake. So far it's not going that well. Looking at one composition, but there's just a lot of weeds in the way. So I'm going to look for another composition and see what we can collect. Here we are at Wood Lake, the next stop on our road trip up the valley, collecting lakes as we go. This one's kind of special for us because this is where we're going to have lunch. And what a lunch it is. You can see we're eating only the finest of foods.
Some warm chili.
Collected from a man named Timothy Horton. He was good enough to provide lunch for us today. It costs too much, but we've got to eat something, and since it's cold out, a hot meal like chili is going to hit the spot. Now down by the edge of Wood Lake, I've set up a good composition using this tree as a foreground element and looking up the lake toward the sunlight beyond. This area used to be the main highway, and a few years ago they built another highway that goes behind it and passes by this whole area. And since then it's been a very quiet little parkway with a very low speed limit, and we sometimes drive down here with our trailer. What they've done in the past year is a real improvement for this piece of road. They've actually put in beside it a bike path that stretches all the way up here. And you can see that's what I'm walking on right now, is the bike path. Probably too cold for a bike to come along and hit me. But one day, we hope to come out here and ride our bikes beside the lake. Maybe take some pictures doing that. But look at this, look how civilized this is. They've even included a bike repair station along this. So if you get a flat, you can pump up your tires. If you have something that needs adjustment, they have tools. This is great. We're now at Kalamalka Lake, the next lake in the chain going up the valley. This lake on a sunny day is well known for its turquoise waters. Today is a bit too gray to see the turquoise come out very much, but you can see how calm the water is today. It's almost unnatural.
Beautiful.
We're getting farther up the valley now, and we just passed Vernon, and this is Swan Lake, and the day has changed for the better up here. Look how beautifully sunny it is. I'm going to set up my camera in here and see if there's any good shots I can get. Hopefully maybe with some of these golden reeds that line the edge of Swan Lake. This is Shuswap Lake. If you're one of our more sharp-eyed viewers, you'll notice that this isn't the same day as the last segment. It was bright and sunny at Swan Lake, and here at the Shuswap, it's kind of cloudy and it's somewhat colder. They say there's going to be snow flurries this afternoon, and we hope that that's going to hold off long enough for us to complete this road trip. If you look behind me, you'll see Mount Ida covered in snow in the background. We want to capture Mount Ida as our background interest in this landscape. We also want to include the lake in the photo, and we want to find something of foreground interest here as well. Diana's already continuing down the path, and I'm going to follow her, and we're going to try to find something that we think will make a nice picture, wrapping up all three of these elements. Not finding anything on this little rocky beach that's of great foreground interest, so we're going to do something that's a tried and true technique when you can't find something of foreground interest. We will be the foreground interest. So I'm going to ask Diana to go and stand out here a little bit. What we're going to try to do compositionally wise is keep Mount Ida in the composition because it's so spectacular. And we'll put us in this gap so that we break the horizon, but we're not covering up Mount Ida. All right, we found one more composition that we decided to grab, and this last one didn't use us as the foreground element. We actually cheated and used a pile of rocks as the foreground element. Which isn't cheating, it's just another one of those tried and true methods. If you can't find a great foreground element, use rocks! Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us today and for our road trip. As I said earlier, we're going to head back to the truck and get warm. It's cold out here. Look at this. Look how far away the truck is. I don't know if you can even see it back there. It's so far away.
It's not that far.
Okay, it's not that far, but we're going to get there instantly. Let's use a little time travel. And here we are. Back in the truck, just like that. Thanks for joining us on this road trip photo challenge. It's been a lot of fun for us. Has it been a lot of fun for us, Diana?
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun for us, and I hope it's been fun for you as well. We don't know how the photos have turned out yet. You're, again, way ahead of us. You've seen all the photos we took on this trip, those at least that we chose to share with you, because who knows, some of them might have turned out kind of poorly. But I think some of them came out pretty nicely. Hope you'll join us again on our next road trip adventure or our next photo to painting adventure or whatever we decide to do a video of next. We're really glad to have you along. Please take a moment, if you haven't already, to subscribe below and hit the notify button so that you get a notification every time we upload a new video.
And share it.
Good idea. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.